Well, I know my friends over at Skywatch, Dr. Tom Horn, Derek Gilbert, the crew over there said your Gods and Thrones book is riveting. I think I pre-ordered it. Jim Baker said it was exhilarating. Joel Richardson calls it groundbreaking. The subtitle, Nakash, Forgotten Prophecy, and the Return of the Elohim. Carl, give us a little sneak peek into this, what seems to be just an incredible book.
Yeah, thanks. Well, very quickly, now my book goes into great detail, but for the sake of this broadcast for your audience, it's as simple as this. Elohim is a word that carries a lot of power to it. It's a Hebrew word. Whenever you see a Hebrew word ending in im, that usually means it's plural. But Elohim is one of those strange words. It's like deer or buffalo. You know, what's the singular for deer? Deer. What's the plural for deer? Deer. What's the singular for buffalo? Buffalo. What's the plural for buffalo? Buffalo. Well, Elohim. What's the singular for Elohim? Elohim. What's the plural? Elohim. All right, well, where do we find Elohim? In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. Well, that means God. Well, is it singular God or plurality of gods? Well, we know from the rest of Scripture that only God is the creator. In the person of Jesus Christ, all things were created. There were no gods. There was no pantheon of gods that created. We know that. So we know that that word, Elohim, can be rightly translated as God. But throughout the Bible, especially the Old Testament, the word Elohim is found, and the context clearly is gods, but not capital G, little g, meaning the divine realm, the angelic realm, the demonic realm, if the context calls for it. So what I mean by the return of the Elohim is we're being set up right now, Sheila. I mean, this whole globalist, communist, demonic, witchcraft, occultic culture that we're living in of sexual perversion and evolution lie, and I mean, just is so perverse, and wars and rumors of wars and World War III on the verge of it, and Middle East collapsing. I mean, this whole atmosphere the world is living in right now, it is nothing but, according to the Word of God, Old and New Testament, it's the powers behind the thrones, the powers in the unseen realm, the Elohim, the fallen gods, the fallen angels that are following Satan. And when you read Isaiah 14 and Ezekiel 28, you discover that Satan doesn't want to just be God of this world. He literally believes he's going to be God of gods. In his mind, he thinks he's going to dethrone Yahweh. He thinks he's going to somehow kill Yahweh, and he is going to be the God of this earth, and he proclaims the God of gods. So this is a battle to the death. This is ugly. It is nasty. It's as real as it gets. It's happening before our eyes. Most of the church doesn't even see it. And when they listen to you and me talk about these things, most of the church kind of rolls their eyes because they don't get it. They're not spiritual thinkers. They know the pretty little passages in the Bible, and that's what they hold on to, but they have not put the Bible in context from the fall in the Garden of Eden through to the book of Revelation and where we are in the headlines of our news. That's what my book, Gods and Thrones, does, and that's one of the topics, the return of the Elohim. I mean, the demonic outpouring is the return of the fallen Elohim. They're here. I mean, it's going on right now in the nations of the world.
The Satanists wanted to install their own tribute, a pagan idol, on the Capitol grounds right next to the Ten Commandments.
Billions around the planet are witnessing a world in the grasp of sadistic spiritual darkness. This unholy alliance has infected our governments, our religious institutions, and our societies. The world appears to be unraveling. But can the evil behind these dark supernatural forces be defeated? Is everything playing out just as the Bible predicted it will in the final days? At last, you can know the answers to mankind's most urgent questions and learn your destiny among today's events in the new, unprecedented work taking the prophecy world by storm. Gods and Thrones, Nakash, Forgotten Prophecy and the Return of the Elohim by best-selling author, former decorated law enforcement officer, and senior pastor Carl Gallups. This changes everything. Available now wherever fine books are sold.